Welcome to Chapter 2 of Complete Jira Training. In this chapter, we are going to talk about how to create a space in Jira. So let's get started. To create a space, click on the plus icon against the spaces option on the left hand side panel. So I'm going to say plus create space, and Jira gives you a couple of templates based upon what kind of field and the kind of work you are doing. For example, if you are into kind of operations, you could go ahead and create different templates of space, like a process control space, or a procurement space, or a RFP process space. And if you are into kind of marketing, it could be different, wherein you could say go to market, campaign management, content management, or event planning. And even for personal use, you could go ahead and create some spaces like task tracking or personal task planner, if you see here. In this particular example, I'm going to use a software development template. So some of the most popular templates are Kanban and Scrum in software development. We also have top level planning or cross team planning, product roadmap, prioritization, and bug tracking too available for us. I'm going to use the Scrum one. And here on this page, Jira quickly points out some of the key features of Scrum, where organizing cycles of work into sprints or using sprints is like the top level for us. And you could go ahead and say use template. Here on this page, you should be able to select the kind of space that you want, whether it is a team managed or a company managed. The differences here are quickly laid out for you, but if you look at it at a broader way, we could just say like how team planning is pretty much having simple configurations and doesn't have that much of configurational changes or control that you would say, or kind of security when compared to what the company managed have, like extensive workflows or detailed permission schemes. And extensive reporting is what company managed has when compared to team managed. And team managed could be used when it's a smaller team, when company managed needs a Jira admins to kind of maintain and set up everything idly, right? So it depends on how your team is kind of setup and what kind of work you're doing. You could go ahead and select the space type over here. So here I'm going to say I want to use a company managed space. So next, Jira provides you the options to go ahead and set up the name and key for the space. So I'm going to say space Mars, for example, right? So that's the name of the space. And when you enter the name of the space, it automatically also gives you the key of the space, taking the first two letters of the words, first letter of each word, ideally, right? It says S from space and M from Mars. You could go ahead and use your own space key. But what is the key ideally? Key is a unique identifiable component for every space. Just like DNA for the humans, which is quite unique, space key is quite unique for every space, and the space key is carried over to every issue or ticket that you are creating in the space, right? So there are few restrictions or rules that you need to follow while setting up a space key. So the first one would be like do not enter a number at the start of a key. It gives an error. If you see here, it must start with an uppercase letter. So I could go ahead and say SM1 is acceptable, but 1SM throws an error, right? So that is number one. Number two, do not use any kind of special characters. At the rate, exclamation marks, hyphens, underscores are not allowed in the key. Thirdly, you could go ahead and say probably something like this. The project key must not extend 10 characters in length. This is something that is set up at the admin level. You could change, but by default, this is what the rule is, that you're not allowed to go or extend or exceed 10 characters in length for a smart key. So I will go ahead and remove this. So these are three rules that you need to follow when setting up a space key. So I could go ahead and just default to what the space key was that was given while I was entering the name of the space, or I could even change it if I want, right? could even say MS if I want, or even my name probably. But it should be identifiable, and kind of that is why that you're using a key ID, right? So I'm going to just use the default one. So you have the space name, space key. We have the template. If you want to change the template at this point in time, you could change it. And same with the type of the space. You could also change the type of the space at this point in time to team manager if you would like. But I'm good with all these details, so I'm going to keep them as is and click on create space, right? So it's going to take a couple of seconds to load and show up the project. But before that, we also have options to kind of invite your team members. For now, I'm going to skip this option. And here we are into the space. You're able to you land on the active sprints page. You're able to see backlog, timeline, summary, everything of the space. And on the left hand side panel, if you focus again, you're able to see the recent spaces that you have. We have a test project and a space mask that we have created just now, and the spaces option here. If you want to create multiple spaces, you could again use the plus icon to create a space. But if you click on this arrow, it disappears and appears. And you, if you would like to view all the spaces in one page, you could click on view all spaces and view up all the space where you have the space name, space key, type, and lead for the space, right? So yeah, this is how you're creating a spaces, but we're going to learn how to archive or delete a space in the next video, so stay tuned.